Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests all the way to Japan. How exciting. I am going to tell you how to combat the fear of public speaking. Now, this is a really big deal because guess what? We're all public speakers. Now, it's important to remember that even presidents have concerns about these things. President Kennedy told us that public speaking is the art of diluting a 2-minute idea into a 2-hour address. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing today, taking my small idea and making it something big that's pertinent to you. And that's one way to avoid being afraid of what you're about to say. That is making your speech something that is important to the audience. We're all public speakers. Hopefully, you will find this interesting and helpful. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt stated, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." However, that was the short version of the speech. The entire speech went like this: "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, that nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror that paralyzes our efforts to retreat or advance." What? That's terrifying. Excuse me, but that's what he actually said. Now, I want you all to realize that a nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror lived underneath my bed and in my closet when I was a little kid. This was something that really distressed me. But Franklin Delano Roosevelt sat paralyzed in a chair. Imagine the fear he must have felt, yet he went forward. Now, he had a cousin a little bit far removed, five family members removed, but his name was Teddy Roosevelt. And he told us a speech in 1910 about pretty much what my point is here today. He told a speech, gave a speech about in the arena. And I'm going to paraphrase a whole lot here. He stated basically that the applause goes to us, to we who are in the actual arena. We're on stage or we're at the lectern. We are filled with butterflies, worry, ums, and ahs. However, there is no growth, none, without making error and mistakes. That's a gargantuan thing to think of, isn't it? That we need to make mistakes in order to grow. So is failing that big of a deal? This is our biggest worry. I want you to know that I interviewed my Toastmasters Club and I looked online at other speakers, professional speakers, what is their biggest concern about public speaking? And this is it. There's really only one. I might fail. Well, I'm here to tell you, you will. Once in a while, you're going to fail. We all will. I will. You will. He and she, we will fail. Now, when I interviewed folks, there was only one person, and that would be Rich, who stated that he doesn't worry so much about failure. Now, I hope I'm saying this correctly, because he tends to select subjects on which he is pretty much a professional on. He is an expert in, which is absolutely brilliant. Think about that. If you only talk to us about things in which you are an expert, your likelihood of failing is far less. He could probably give some of those speeches in his sleep. However, me, the only things I'm really an expert in is history, high heels, and tap dancing. Now that only goes so far in pathways. Now, while that is the main focus of our fear, these are the sub-fears that we will freeze and forget absolutely everything we were going to say. We don't remember a darn thing. We don't remember our name. We worry that our message will be unclear. We worry that exemplary, fabulous, gargantuan words might be forgotten in our speech. But we really worry about time. Going over or going under. Going long and going short's not even really acceptable in the stock market, but it's certainly not acceptable in Toastmasters. That we might mispronounce words. Now we have English language learners amongst us from Japan and in our own club. Now I promise we English speakers mispronounce words all the time, and we'll address that. Last but not least, I will appear ignorant. What a worry in front of people that are important to us. Now, remember, failure in public speaking is simply a feeling. Now, feeling versus actuality. If you go on stage and you have heart failure, well, cardiac arrest is a real deal. That's something. If you have rocket failure to launch there, well, that's a real problem as well. But if you simply fail at public speaking, or you feel that fear coming up, it's simply really uncomfortable, a little uncomfortable, slightly uncomfortable. That's all it is. You need to remember that. Now, I'm going to share a story as far as failure goes. Imagine this. This is 2019 Christmas. I'm just about to do my very first tap dancing recital. I'm dressed, I'm adorable, I've got my costume on, I'm with my chorus line, we're all set to go. I'm so excited, I'm ready, I'm prepared. Music starts, my smile is placed firmly and just right. And guess what? My legs refuse to move. My legs have been laden with concrete. I can't move. Everybody else is dancing away. So what I do is I start swinging my arms. Legs aren't doing a darn thing until liquefaction finally sets in and my legs are freed and I finish the routine, well with enthusiasm, if not expertise. Now, that was embarrassing. I was humiliated. But I lived to tell the tale because I'm sitting here now. That little failure was just a feeling, not to worry. Now, I've given you some examples of what we worry about. Now let's look at how to resolve those problems. Number one, the easiest one to do is dress for success. Contact whomever you're going to speak for and give your keynote address. Contact them and say, what shall I wear? You can also go online and look at the club or the meeting or the whatever you're doing and see what they wear. Now, lawyers, if you notice the picture, these lawyers are all dressed differently. There's different types of law. So you would be speaking to different people. Now we've got a person who's an oceanographer. She's not going to be dressed like the lawyer. You have a landscaper and a skateboard guy. Well, they are all going to be dressed in a certain manner that makes them feel powerful and good. Now, Remember Billy Crystal, where he did that song? It's not how you feel, it's how you look, and you look marvelous. That's what you're looking for. You have to forget how you feel for this part of it and just look marvelous. And for me, marvelous is always makeup, a dress, and high heels. Forget the speech? Forget about it. Toastmasters tells us how to fix this. Toastmasters tells us you memorize the beginning, you memorize the end, and you memorize your message. That's it. Score. You win. That's the important thing. And if you memorize the beginning and a message, you cannot possibly fail. It goes like this. Tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them. You're welcome in advance. Time. You know the time is a big deal. Write this down or I'll send it to you. This is an online Convert Words to Time program. We now know, without doubt, because I put it in there, how many words, and it's 700 for your average 5 to 7 minute speech. You get that, you're going to be fine. You can't fail. In case you were wondering, this particular speech, 2,260 words is required. Oh yeah. But this, use it every single time. This is something to help you with that time. You are not going to have any more problems with failing with time. Huzzah! Speakers have been speaking for a long time, ever since we could. Aristotle promised 2,400 years ago, you won't fail if you stop thinking about yourself and you think just about your audience. Who are they? What are they? What gender are they? What are they interested in? What did your person who hired you want you to say? You can ask them, what are three topics that you want me to give to your people? You hear that, you have your speech. That's it. 3 things to share that will be important, that will be of value, that will make a benefit to your audience, and you cannot possibly fail. Well, goodness gracious, Toastmasters Better Speaker Series, Know Your Audience, is right there. It tells us exactly how to do that. To double check on gender, to double check on age, to find out who are your people. Is there an elephant in the room there? Is there something you should not say because of who your audience is or isn't? Then you will be converting those strangers into a captivated audience. That's right. You know who you're going to talk to. I've said this before. If you walk into a room that you know they voted for they voted Biden, you do not go in and say how wonderful Donald Trump is. You don't do that. Not ever. Not ever. Now let's consider pronunciation. You guys ready for a little pronunciation? I'm segueing straight into this. Segue. These are words I have trouble with. Segue. Segue. You can say this along with me, especially my Japanese friends. Electoral. We had a big deal with our electoral college. That's relating to an election. Electoral is how it's said. Many of us say prestigious. It is prestigious. It's prestigious. Mischievous is how it's said. Mischievous. Mischievous sounds much more mischievous than mischievous. I actually mispronounced hyperbole giving a speech and was corrected on stage. I was so embarrassed. I said hyperbole. Coup de grace. Coup de grace. Now you might want to be fancy like I did and want to say it more French. Coup de grace? Who says coup de grace? That means fat and lard blow versus death blow. Yeah, you want to add that S. Coup de grace. Coup de grace. This is hard for me to say now, and I'm looking at remuneration. Remuneration. I'm going to have to practice that later. But some of these are very tricky, but you can double check every speech you give. You can go over and make absolutely certain that you are saying these things right. It's available for you. It's available for you. Here's my friends from Gunma, the belly button of Japan. These are special people in the fact that they need to be treated in the Know Your Audience with, while their English is wonderful, our idioms, our slang, and even our body language, and how we talk about the metric system. We can't talk in inches and yards and pounds to them. They need that converted. You need to be aware of that. You need to be very aware of that. So idiom slang, my Japanese friends, jam session. Have you heard that? Eye candy. Cat got your tongue? If these are things that you're not familiar with, that we as English speakers need to make sure that you understand. Cat got your tongue means you can't talk, you're stumped. You really can't get somewhere. Eye candy. Well, look at Carl Thormeyer. He's eye candy. I mean, you just can't take your eyes off the man. He's gorgeous. Jam session. This is if Arnie decides to start playing, and I get my instruments out, and we start having fun, and we're playing guitars, and we're doing that. We got a jam session going on. The other thing, body language. Body language. It's different in different countries. Do you see all those innocent English signs there? Those were all absolutely vulgar. Those could win you a bloody nose, a fat lip, and a black eye. Be very careful. Look it up. Look it up before off you go to a foreign country and make any of those hand signals. Know your audience. It's everywhere you go. Be very careful. Now, I want you also to remember that we even have it on our Zoom. That's probably the worst one right there. Don't do it. Instead, do like you're a conductor in music. Conduct away, because this is not going to get you in trouble. It's not. Be careful with the body language. Acorns. I'm so excited. This is my favorite portion of this speech. Acorns. Listen carefully. To be Pacific, some of our members are going to fret that folks will assume that they've gone and gotten old-timers disease in the middle of their sentences when they're not copacetic. Pacific and specific. Old-timers instead of Alzheimer's. They're acorns. They are mix-match terms and jaw-droppingly common. Acorn was first coined when a speaker from an indigenous tribe was gathering acorns in an oak forest to make her traditional bread. In layman's terms, acorns are mind-dropping substitutions that exhibit creativity in incense. And if you believe you are among the people that are not affected by acorns, you've got another think coming. Well, and we at MPS have relegated to the Dumner fire an acorn, and I will share it now. Without further ado, spelled ADIEU, is an acorn. Because without further ado, ADO passes mustard. Evaluations. This is the place where we have to be sensitive and we have to worry about being insensitive. I personally insulted someone by correcting their historical speech. That person never came back to Toastmasters. I am still ashamed of that. Smarty pants, stop it. Evaluate fairly. Be kind. If somebody goes overtime, just say you went overtime. Great speech, you went overtime. We get it. In fact, recommend that they get that word time calculator. That'll help them, won't it? And not hurt anybody's feelings. Remember to be kind. So, to speak and not be frightened, remember to think only of your audience. Gift that audience with your information. Make it a present. Practice, 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 and then let it go. Remember, 5 to 7 minutes, 700 words will do it, and you won't go over. Remember, acorns happen. And be thoughtful and be kind. Because Toastmasters ensures our success by giving us this safe place, this so totally safe place to practice, to win, and to fail. And you are marvelous.
Oh.
Madam Toastmaster.